Right then guys, what's good? So we're back. Obviously again we've had a bit of delays on the YouTube videos, but obviously it's just getting that time of year where I've been really busy. The online coaches picking up, the PTs picking up, everything's just sort of like, obviously as that's growing up I've had less time to sort of put aside for the YouTube, but we're back. Obviously more content coming out almost weekly, fortnightly, so we're looking at getting a bit more stuff out for you. And again, any sort of like topics you want me to cover, just let me know. Send me a message if you have came from Instagram, or just leave a comment, But yeah, today's video is going to be mainly about setting up and most importantly maximising a gaining phase. So it's coming up to winter. Most of us, the majority of us, especially if you're watching this video, you're looking to gain size, you're looking to get bigger and put on a significant amount of muscle tissue. So I've done this video to show you the tips of setting up a baseline of where to start and sort of putting out the steps, the stepping stones of where to go and maximise yourself in this gaining phase, whether you're in this for 6 months, 12 months, 3 years, or just a mini bulk, sort of like 4 to 6 weeks. Don't really recommend them. I recommend going for a set amount of time, setting yourself targets and sort of like doing small increments almost weekly or on a session to session basis for your training and stuff like that. But let's get started with the video. So tip number 1 is going to be what's called your BMR, or more commonly known as your calorie maintenance. So what that is briefly put, is it's what you must eat on a daily basis, what you must consume, calories and macros to stay at your current weight. So just again, for an example, so say you're 80 kilos and your calorie maintenance is say 2,500, which sometimes it is. What you must do is you've got to eat that 2,500 to stay at that 80 kilos on a day-to-day basis. So from that sets the baseline of whether we want to be in an excess or a deficit. Obviously both of them is going to depict on where his body's going to go, whether that's going to be up in weight or down in weight. But for this video we're going to be talking about being in excess or a surplus, or calorie surplus as most people like to call it. In my opinion, it's vital for muscle growth. You are going to need it to create an excess. You need to be in an excess. Obviously if we're getting more serious and we're talking into prepping for shows and stuff, if your protein is very high, it's possible to gain a small amount of muscle tissue, but again, to really maximise the phase you need to be in an excess. You need to be consuming more than that 2,500. But obviously again, don't make the rookie mistake. This is what a lot of people do, is they find a maintenance to think, right, I'm just going to add 1,000 onto that. So yeah, you're consuming a lot of calories and you're going to gain from that. What's going to happen is over time is your body's going to get more and more and you'll gain, but not only will you gain a small amount of fat or a significant amount, but your body's going to need more and more calories, and that 1,000 goes to 2,000 to 3,000. So the best thing I recommend is small increments. So just maybe try up it from 2,500 to 800 or 900, that 200 to 400 calorie mark. Check in with yourself weekly, get a coach, get a trainer. If you know how to do it, research it. Just stay on top of your stuff. And if the weight's going up, if the weight's not moving, you simply up your calories. If it's going up slowly, keep it going. Whatever works best for you, keep working. But yeah, always find your maintenance, and that's going to be sort of like the starting point of where we go in the gaining phase. At least that's where I do it, and that's where a lot of my clients do it, and that's where we get the results from. Setting a baseline and going from there by making small changes weekly and aiming to beat targets weekly. Yeah, right. So next point. So another point I'd like to make is obviously most importantly in macros. You're going to create that excess. It's going to come from your food intake, but there's sort of different ideas and depictions on what is bulking or gaining. So you've got your dirty bulk. That's just literally seafood, eat it. Mackey's, Burger King, fast food, anything you see, you just inhale it basically. Then you've got your clean bulking. That's usually the best one and what's probably often taken up after doing a show, stuff like that, to sort of minimise fat gain and stuff like that. And obviously from them two options, what I usually recommend is almost like a lean bulk. It's important when you're bulking, when you're gaining, to not just seafood and eat it. Don't just get all your calories from shitty sources. You'll be eating your good source of protein, your good source of carbs, your chicken, your pasta, your rice, fish, real good source of healthy fats and stuff like that. When it comes to your fats, sort of your macros, whatever your maintenance may be, you'll have a certain amount of grams of fats that you have to eat daily. Don't source that from like your chocolates, your processed foods. Get it from like your avocados, your fishes, healthy source of fats, so your body can utilise them and again just put it to good use instead of just storing it as unnecessary fat. Again, when your protein and your carbs, you want to make sure that they're high as well. You want your protein to be especially high, your carbs again especially high, one for the energy of your workouts. When you're training, your session's going to be more intense, so you're going to need that fuel for it. Pre-workout ain't going to cut it. Supplements aren't going to cut it. You're going to need a good meal, a good pre-workout meal, a good post-workout meal to supply and sort of like storing those calories that you burn and help promote better, stronger sessions and a bigger gain essentially in your body weight. But yeah, carbs, proteins and fats, just really make sure you're on top of that and sourcing them from the right sources, because otherwise you're just going to end up getting fat, and we don't want that in this phase. So my next point would be tracking or accountability. This is almost just as important. Every point I cover is important. This is one you definitely need to sort of take notes on. But yeah, tracking your work, tracking both your sessions, your training, everything goes on when you're gaining. It's both inside and outside the gym. So you need to be, when you're in the gym, tracking your numbers, tracking your sessions, writing down how you felt. Mindset is very important. You need to write down, rate the session out of 10. Something that I do on my sessions is, once I've done the session, I've got my numbers, I mark it out of 10. I write down how I'm feeling, and from that, I'll know that some exercises work, or maybe with the timing, my meal timings and stuff like that. Like I say, almost every little helps. With your food, try to keep your food diary. Then, so going back to my first point about if your calories don't work, you'll know that if you're not gaining in that week, simply look back over your logbook. If you missed a certain amount of macros that day, if you miss your protein count, you'll know to simply just add more next week. It's as simple as that. All this is doing is making it more easy for you, and more easy for you to really be on top of your game in this gaining phase and come out next year or whenever your period, coming out looking the top and the best you've ever been. Yeah. So next up would be obviously your training. So we'll cover the diet, we've covered the baselines, but your training is going to be your next big one, because again, once you've got the excess food, you don't just want to be storing that as fat. You want to be putting it to use, supplying it, and going into the gym and doing good optimal sessions. What you want to get used to in this bulk, and this is why I recommend always having a training partner or coaches or trainers, stuff like that. Someone that is there for you to push yourself to go as far as you can. So when you train, I want you to get used to being under the bar, being used to loads of heavy weight. Get used to moving heavy weight for more reps as well. Don't just be doing your singles, your triples. That's good for strength, and again, you are going to develop strength in this phase, but move it for more reps. And then again, mess about with the intensity. You've got like peak contractions, drop sets. Don't really go into supersets and stuff like that, but again, the main aim is just lifting heavy. Focus on your compounds. Nail the basics. Don't obsess over like your fluffy stuff that you may do in a prep or in a diet phase. You really want to see your bench, your squat, your deadlift. They want to be, when you go into a session, you've got numbers to beat, you've got sets to beat, whether you increase that by a workload or a rep range or a kilo. You want to beat that every session and come out of that session being on top from the previous session. It's as simple as that. Sort of like to categorise that would be known as progressive overload. And whether you're in a diet phase, a bulking phase, always, whatever gets you the mass keeps you the mass. It's important, it's vitally important to always be tracking stuff and keeping on top of it and constantly getting stronger and bigger and being able to move a larger amount of weight as possible. Which would lead me on to another point, which would be form. Again, when you are moving this weight, so again, ask someone for a spot, ask someone to critique your form. Don't just be moving the weight from A to B. Feel the weight, move the weight with the correct form. When people say the old stories of squats are bad for your knees, that only comes from, injury from exercise only comes from poor execution and possibly overtraining. Poor execution is going to limit your gains, it's going to limit your results and your strength, and it's also going to lead to injuries. It may not be instantly, but long run, I guarantee you will get bad injuries. So leave the ego, the weight will come. You're in this gaining phase for a long time. So don't rush it, don't rush the process, trust it, and just bump your numbers up slowly whilst keeping the best form possible. And it's as simple as that, really is simple. So I just mentioned it briefly in that last point then, but as well as your training, your form execution, as well as that, you're going to need to be feeling the weight as well. So when you're saying bench pressing, don't just be moving your elbows, don't just be pressing the weight and not feeling it. Because again, it's possible you will gain some sort of strength and some mass, but as opposed to feeling it, you're going to benefit a lot more. It's really important to connect with the weight. Each single rep you want to be feeling it, don't just be shifting the weight from point A to point B, because it's not really going to do you much benefits in the long run of your training. So last point is going to be rest and recovery. Very important when it comes to training. Your body grows when it's in a state of rest, when you're sleeping, when you're like a calmer state of mind. So if you're training, if you're maximising, sorry, just pausing, mind blank. But if you're maximising your training, both your eating, and you're going home and only getting 4 hours of sleep. And again, this is something that I've been unfortunately subject to myself with working and stuff like that. But if you're training in an excess, if you're eating in an excess, you need to be sleeping almost in an excess, so to stay as well. I recommend 8 hours minimum. What it's going to do is just going to give your body a significant amount of time to rest, recover and come back stronger. So if I soon wake up, the DOMs are going to be more intense, you're going to be more lethargic, you're not going to have much motivation. You need the sleep to sort of switch off and then switch back on and come back fresher and more motivated than ever, really. Because your mindset and your physical state of mind is very important as to how that session will go. You want to, each variable in this phase, you want to understand, utilise and almost attack the phase in order to come out on top. So your eating, your training, your sleep, your diet, your meal timings, it all wants to be spot on. It wants to be, it wants to be bang on. So you can really come out, not leave anything behind and be the best that you've ever looked. That's the aim of every phase. Every session you always want to be better than you previously was. Yeah? So we'll wrap it up there for today, guys. Nice little quick video. Again, just a welcome back, and I hope you learned something from it. Again, if you are going into a bulk phase, really just look back on them points, nail down, take some notes, and let me know how you get on. Next video is again in the works, so that's going to be getting released. So again, more content coming for you soon. But yeah, give it a subscribe, tag me on Instagram, let me know what you think about it. And yeah, any feedback's good. But yeah, cheers for that, guys.